Dear students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Professor M.P. Sija, retired from the Department of Library and Information Science, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. We are going to discuss notation, its qualities, features, and utility in library classifications. Notation belongs to the third and the last plan of classification, that is notational plan for designing a whole classification system. It is the most visible part of classification and is ultimate in library classification. It is something that the users deal with. To give you an analogy from making of movies, idea plan is the story. Verbal plan is songs and dialogues. Notation is actors in the movie. However, notation has been given different importance by various classificationists. Melville Dewey put all his emphasis on notation, as if notation is a classification. Popularity of the DDC proves that he was right, as he has chosen notation first and classification later. Ranganathan's approach is other way round. He treats notation as a servant of the idea plan. Whatever be, notation is important and not a mere adjunct for library classification and its success. Classification system depends as much on notation as the movie depends as much on good actors for its success. Good classification needs good notation indeed. Notational plane, though the last plane of work in designing a library classification system, yet it is the most visible face of the final product of library classification schedules. Being visible, some people mistake it for the classification itself. In fact, notation can be defined as a series of symbols or codes to represent the subjects and their parts, which were concepts and names in the idea and verbal planes respectively. It is a plane which faithfully implements the findings or decisions of the idea plane and the verbal plane. Ranganathan called it as a servant of the idea plane. It has got its own power and force. Introduction. It's not a servant. It's derogatory to call it because it has got its own personality and power. It's better to call it as the executive plane. Its position can be better understood by using an analogy of motion pictures. As I have already said, idea plane is story, verbal plane is music and dialogues, and the notational plane can be compared to the actors which are visible, and you know that actors are more important. So is the position of notation in library classification. The function of notation in library classification is clear, but its status is ambiguous at best. It is rightly said that a bad notation may mar a good work in the idea plane, but a good notation cannot improve the bad work of the idea plane. So it is very important that classic notation should be good in itself for a good classification to work and to be effective. Notation is a system of shorthand symbols or series of symbols to denote subjects and their subdivisions by ordinal digits. Notation is only required in library classification. These digits used as notation have only ordinal value. That is, they show only order of subjects. For example, if a subject is denoted by A and another by B, it doesn't mean that A is greater than B or B is greater than A. It only simply means that B will follow A. Similarly, in case of, let us say, in the DDC, literature is 800, history is 900. It doesn't mean that 800 has more value than 900 or vice versa. It simply means that 900 will follow 800. So they do not have any cardinal value, they do not have any weightage, only they have their ordinal value or their sequential value, they show the order. These digits are not cardinal or quantitative, neither they are qualitative. Notation conveys only the order, not value or weight. Notation is a constant sign by which we denote classes, subjects, aspects of document to form a class number and ultimately a call number. And I am to again repeat that notation is only required in library classification. It is not required in knowledge classification, though knowledge classification can also denote the subjects by some codes, but that is not the absolute requirement. Need and purpose. Classification notation is needed and it has got many roles. In the idea and verbal planes, every concept is given a considered and well thought place in the classification system or the map. But these terms, howsoever, cannot be assigned as index terms to the document in a library. This is mostly for the following reasons. Names or terms for a subject in the verbal plane are too long to be written as labels. Hence, we require short symbols to denote subjects and to arrange them. Names of subjects are different in different languages, whereas in library we have books in many languages. For example, mathematics is called Ganit in Hindi. Then where should we place a book of mathematics in Hindi? Whether under G or M. In every language, there is a problem of synonyms. For example, wages, salary, pay mean the same concept. Then under which term the document on the subject should be filed? Should it go under wages W or salary S and so on? Notation in library classification is more than series of brief symbols or for brevity. It is in fact the engine on which a classification system runs and works better to arrange subjects for information retrieval. The role of notation can be defined and argued with the following examples. Names of subjects keep changing. For example, economics was once called political economy. Education Ministry is now called Ministry of Human Resources Development. Sri Lanka was called Ceylon. If names are used for arrangement of documents, then there would be many problems. We have to reclassify the subjects when the name changes. Moreover, the subjects will get scattered. For example, mathematics will come under M, whereas algebra will go to A, geometry to G, and trigonometry to T. A family will thus get scattered or dispersed, whereas the purpose of classification is to keep it together. Even if these names are labeled on the documents, how these will preserve the systematic order of subjects in arrays and chains chosen in the idea plan. Words in themselves cannot be arranged alphabetically. The other uses also include that it is an indispensable component of library classification, which is usually not required in knowledge classification or may be required as an adjunct. It is the address of the document in the library and assures efficient working of the library catalog. So it brings the symbiosis between classification and cataloging. Apart from mechanizing the arrangement of documents on the shelves, it arranges entries in classified catalogs and shelf lists. It shows relations of subjects in the overall scheme of mapping of knowledge, helps in synthesis of compound and complex subjects, makes possible the efficient use of the index. In the index, it is the reference point. In faceted classification, it makes the structure of the subject quite transparent. It is essential for chain indexing, which is another contribution of Ranganathan to classification and indexing. It may be essential for arrangement of circulation in the library. Canons of Notation. As in the idea and verbal planes, Raghunathan gave a long list of canons to be applied to the notation chosen and its construction. Canon of homonyms and synonyms. Canon of relativity and uniformity. Canon of hierarchy. Canon of mixed notation. Canon of facial notation, and canon of co-extensiveness. Qualities of notation. Apart from all the above mandatory qualities, as Raghunathan terms them as canons, other qualities of notation can be of three types. We can divide them as optional or desirable qualities, essential and vital, and thirdly, scientific. Brevity is optional quality. Mnemonics-based notation again is a optional quality, though may be a bit scientific. Then there are three types of mnemonics as given: alphabetical mnemonics, scheduled mnemonics, and seminal mnemonics in notation as described by S.R. Ranganathan. Hospitality. Hospitality means to accommodate new subjects that may emerge in the future in the classification system without disturbing the existing ones. And hospitality is the most essential, rather vital quality of any notational system. Without it, classification notation will not survive, nor the classification itself. Therefore, it is called vital quality of any notation, and while making notation, this quality or this factor must always be kept in view. Notation hospitality is also known by various other names. Non-technically, it is also known as flexibility or resilience or plasticity of classification. Means the classification can be stretched to accommodate new subjects. It is essential as knowledge is simultaneously growing exponentially in multiple directions. Therefore, any living and practical classification must have the capacity to give place to new subjects at their proper places. Later point is very essential. New subjects should not be accommodated any place available, but the place which is logical to them and fits their status. That's why library classification has to be revised from time to time to include new subjects at their natural places. And revision can only be useful if the notation has the flexibility and the capacity to accommodate new subjects. Hospitality. Hospitality can be seen at or should be provided at two levels. One is hospitality by the classifiers who have to do or work in a routine with the classification system. It means that if a classifier feels that a subject needs to be accommodated, he or she should have some autonomy, method, and authority to put that new subject at its proper place without getting any instructions or waiting for the new addition. And of course, the essential thing is that hospitality by classificationist in the new edition. And this, of course, can be done in various ways, and most of them is the capacity of a notation to accommodate new subjects. And that will be handled by the classificationist and will be displayed or used while making new additions after revision. Gaps in arrays. There are many traditional as well as very innovative methods for hospitality. Gap device is one traditional and looks very simple. Gap device is a method to accommodate future subjects. It is used at every level of arrays in almost all classifications. Gap device means leave some vacant numbers here and there to be filled with future and unborn subjects. Take the example of CC. In the main class U geography, there are some vacant places as shown here. U1 is filled, U2 is filled, but U3 is vacant. And then U7 is also vacant. These are big gaps. It also means that if new branches of geography emerge in future, then the classificationist can think of accommodating them at these left gaps. And this is very traditional method, simple method, but it also have a problem that gaps cannot be left forever. A day may come when the gaps are filled, at least in the first order arrays. And second problem is that a subject may emerge, but the gaps already left may not be the proper places in it. And a classificationist may try to forcibly place the new subject at the vacant place. And this will, of course, distort the structure of classification, as it has already happened in the Dewey Decimal classification. Gaps in arrays. In the above example, U3 and U7 are vacant positions which can be filled later with the new topics or new branches of geography. And of course, I have already explained to you logical limitations and time limitations of the gap device. Sectorising digits. Rising above the gap device, Ranganathan came with a very innovative idea of sectorising digits for hospitality in array. This is an effective device to accommodate a subject at a proper place in an array, even if no vacant place is left there. Sectorising digits can extend a notation at the desired place to accommodate or to put new subjects. For this, Ranganathan invented a very clever method of empty digits, now also called sectorising digits. In the column classification, the digits 0, 9, small z and capital Z are empty digits, means they have not given any semantic meaning, so no subject or meaning is given to them. These digits are never used alone, but used to repeat, or these are repeated digits to extend an array. For example, in the decimal system, we have up to 9 digits. In 9 classes can be accommodated. But if you have more than 9 classes of the same rank, then 9 is a sectorising digit or repeated digits. Then new entities at the end can be given. If the 8 is filled, then 9-1, 9-2, and further also 9-1, 9-2, 9-3, 9-9, and so on. It also means, though visibly it doesn't look so, but 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 1, 9, 2, 9, 3, 9, 4, 9, 5, 9, 6, 9, 7, 9, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9, 1, 9, 9, 3, 9, 9, 9 are all coordinate classes of equal rank. So, in this way, this array can be extended to any extent, and there is a scope of hospitality to any level. Similarly, the sectorising digits can also be used in case we use alphabets, not numerals, in the notation. We can extend an array using alphabets as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on, Y. Then after Y, if there is no place, then we can put new subjects with the notation ZA, ZB, ZC, ZY, ZZA, ZZB, ZZC, and so on, ZZX, and so on. We can go on repeating. Here Z has no semantic value, only ordinal value. It means it is semantically empty digit. Further, for hospitality, in an array, the digits T, V, and X are set aside as emptying digits, as these digits emptying a preceding digit of its semantic meaning, but allowed to retain its ordinal value. For example, in the CC, K is zoology, L is medicine. No place is left between the two to insert a new but equally ranked coordinate. And this here, let us say the subject is animal husbandry. So Ranganathan used the diode digit kx for animal husbandry. It falls between two, K zoology, KX veterinary science, and L medicine. So it may be noted that K, KX, and L. Here, KX is not part of K, but KX is coordinate with K and is also coordinate with L. Though it lengthens the notation, but it is very effective device to accommodate new subjects at their proper places. So here X is an emptying digit. It doesn't mean economics here, and KX is not subordinated to K, but it is coordinate with K. Hence, it is very clever device to accommodate new subjects at proper places in an array. Extending the concept of empty or empty digits, Ranganathan coined another or invented another device, what he called emptying digits. To make further rather almost unlimited interpolation in the colon classification, U, W, and Y have been postulated as emptying digits for array next to the main class arrays. It means that in the next class arrays, these digits U, W, and Y will not be used. It means also that not only these digits are empty of any meaning, these also make other digits empty to which these are attached. It means that they eat away their meaning and make a new meaning of the two-digit notation. Hospitality in chain. Now we shift to the hospitality in chain, as Ranganathan resolved the problem of hospitality at two levels, first in array, then in chains. Chain, as you know, is a sequence of classes in successively subordination or in decreasing extension. The DDC provides infinite hospitality in chain by the use of decimal fraction, which you can go on extending up to any limit. New subjects can be added at the end of a chain by decimal fraction, as it is done by most of the systems. This method is now used almost by all the classifications and classificationists. Use of decimal numerals is almost norm while designing classification systems. And even nowadays, alphabets, when extended by other alphabet, they are also treated as decimally divided. Problems of notation. Notation has got many tasks to perform, and it is a visible part. It has to be handled by the users and the classifiers. And of course, it is indispensable, but it has also got many problems. In many systems, notation has become too complex, and it may deter the users to use classification, or it may confuse them even. Lengthy class numbers are inevitable in depth classification, though these pose no problem in computers, and lengthy notations are not user-friendly. The order of digits in a mixed notation may not be comprehensible to a ordinary library users. For example, the colon uses numerals, Roman caps, Roman smalls, and punctuation marks. So, order may not be clear in which order they are to be filed, especially in case of punctuation marks, which also confuses the trained classifiers or the shelvers. Not only this, in the UDC, punctuation marks are posing a problem in computerized arrangement as their value is not compatible with ASCII code or standards. Continue with the problems of notation or how to deal with them. The late great French classificationist and thinker Eric de Grolier regrets that we have not applied to library classification the progress the notation has made in other fields such as mathematics, logic, and chemistry. One hindrance in our library users who are laypersons and may not understand very advanced or specific notation. So this is the central problem. Digital libraries may provide a virgin field to realize the full potential of notation in library classification. And if the library is fully automated, Opaques may use some more sophisticated notation for specific numbers. As in a digital correction, you don't have to put the call number, however small or big, on the spine or on that part of the document. To summarize, notation has been defined as series of shorted symbols for names of subjects and other concepts. But in fact, in function, notation is much more than that. Notation is a system, an artificial language to translate the subject of the document into ordinal numbers for arrangement on the shelves and in a catalog. Its other functions are to preserve and mechanize the order of subjects decided in the idea plan. It helps in number synthesis, shows hierarchy of subjects, is an essential component of classified catalogs, and a location tool in opaques and shelf lists. But the most vital quality of notation is its hospitality. That is to accommodate new subjects at their proper places when the new subjects come without disturbing the existing ones. DDC uses it mostly by leaving gaps here and there for hospitality and by decimal fraction at the end of the chain. Gap device, though popular in every sort of classification for hospitality, is not a scientific solution to the problem. It is rather to postpone the problem. And someday the spaces may be filled and there may be no place to uh, accommodate new subjects at their uh, proper place. To help the solutions, Ranganathan invented the use of sector notation, emptying digits, to interpolate and extrapolate new subjects in an array. Devices given by Ranganathan for making new oscillates or specifying the existing vague ones are availed of by the classifiers. These devices are geographical device, chronological device, subject device, superimposition device, and alphabetical device. More the number of devices for hospitality or specificity of subjects, more complex a notation. But such a notation is essential for complex subjects and which are growing day by day. Need is being felt to use in library classification advances made by notation in subjects like mathematics or chemistry.